A wealthy man enters a homeless shelter, the sound of his shiny shoes echoing against the aged tiles, and he comes to an abrupt halt. There, cradling a newborn wrapped in a worn blanket, sits his former wife, a woman he hasn't laid eyes on in more than a year. What happens next will reveal hidden truths, stir up feelings long kept at bay, and transform their lives in ways they never thought possible. The evening sky glowed with hues of amber and rose as Alex Bradford, the impeccably dressed titan of industry, maneuvered his sleek black car into the parking lot of a nondescript building nestled in the city's core. The edifice bore the marks of age, its weathered bricks telling tales of the past, and the nearly indistinguishable sign hinted at forgotten stories, but within vitality thrived. Amidst the flurry of activity, volunteers moved with purpose, families gathered closely to share warmth, and the sound of children's laughter echoed, a bright note against the backdrop of their challenges. This was not the typical territory for Alex. His universe was filled with towering structures, lavish celebrations, and conference rooms where agreements were sealed with handshakes valued in the millions. Yet this evening, he discovered himself in this place, compelled by duty. At least that was his belief. The PR team proposed this visit as a strategy to enhance his public persona. Branded as distant and disconnected by the press, Alex sought a more relatable approach. He consented with hesitation, perceiving it more as a display than a sincere gesture of goodwill. As he emerged from his vehicle, the brisk air bit at his cheeks. Yet there was another sensation brewing inside him, a strange twinge of discomfort. Within the confines of the shelter, the sharp scent of disinfectant intertwined with the comforting aroma of simmering soup. Volunteers worked seamlessly, serving meals as laughter softly resonated in the background of lively chatter. The moment was a blend of sorrow and optimism, stirring emotions within Alex that he struggled to articulate. And then he caught sight of her. In the corner, perched on a metal chair, sat Emily, her figure delicate yet determined. Her once vibrant hair now lay flat against her face, and her cheeks were drawn in by fatigue. Even in her fragility, a subtle strength emanated from the way she cradled the baby, a nurturing tenderness that halted Alex in his tracks. His breath caught in his throat. It was she, Emily, his former spouse, the woman who had once illuminated their lavish home with joy and warmth, only to leave it in ruins after a mere 6 chaotic months of marriage. Memories surged within him, relentless and overwhelming like the tide. Their whirlwind romance, the intoxicating passion that united them, and the bitter unraveling that ultimately separated them. Their farewell had been far from amicable. Not at all. Each held the other accountable for the collapse of their partnership, leaving scars fresh and unhealed. And now, here she stood, miles apart from the life they once knew, cradling a child he couldn't identify. Emily remained unaware of his presence. Her attention was completely devoted to the baby in her embrace, who let out soft whimpers before finding comfort in her soothing motions. She softly hummed a lullaby, a melody that Alex faintly recalled from their fleeting moments together. The sound contorted something within him, a blend of guilt, curiosity, and regret he had not foreseen. Who was this little one? What brought Emily to this place of all places? A volunteer came forward, presenting a bowl of soup accompanied by a slice of bread. Emily nodded with a thankful smile, yet the fatigue visible on her face conveyed a deeper story. The lively woman he once knew had vanished, giving way to someone shaped by adversity, yet tendered by the experience of motherhood. As Alex gathered his resolve to step forward, his feet hesitated, unsure of the path ahead. With a gentle clearing of his throat, he drew her gaze. Her eyes widened in disbelief, and for an instant, the clamor of the shelter faded into quietude. "Alex," she murmured, her voice rough and laced with incredulity. "Emily," he responded, his voice unwavering even as turmoil swirled inside him. His eyes shifted to the infant, now serene in her embrace. "Excuse me? What brings you here?" Her lips formed a tight line, and for a moment, he feared she might remain silent. Then she let out a deep breath, her shoulders drooping as if weighed down by an unseen load. The tale unfolds over many pages. I have time, Alex said swiftly, sliding a chair out and settling down opposite her. He found himself uncertain about the reasons behind his urge to remain, caught between guilt, curiosity, and a deeper truth he wasn't prepared to face. Emily paused, her grip on the baby's blanket growing firmer. She surveyed the room, her eyes darting as if seeking a way out, yet none could be found. At last, she locked eyes with him, her fragility briefly piercing the defenses she had constructed. What brings you here? She responded with a cutting remark. This doesn't appear to be a setting that suits you. Alex brushed off the jab. The same question could be posed to you. Her jaw clenched, yet she remained silent. Instead, she redirected her focus to the infant, her delicate fingers caressing his cheek with gentle affection. The gesture left Alex feeling uneasy, awakening feelings he struggled to identify. Is that your little one? He inquired with a hint of uncertainty. She inclined her head, a gentle warmth spreading across her features. He goes by the name Oliver. The name lingered in the air, laden with significance. Alex experienced a sharp twinge of regret, mixed with jealousy and a deep sense of sadness. He found himself uncertain. What is his age? In a whisper, she said, 2 weeks. 14 days? Alex calculated the numbers swiftly in his mind. If Emily had welcomed her baby into the world 2 weeks ago, then he dismissed the notion, directing his attention to the here and now. Emily, he started, his voice softer this time. What transpired with you? Her eyes sparkled with a mix of fury and pain. Are you referring to the moment you left me behind? Once you abandoned me to gather the fragments? Alex recoiled at the charge, fully aware of its truth. Their union had crumbled in chaos, and he carried as much of the burden as she did. However, this was not focused on what had come before. Not any longer. Indeed, you are correct. You don't owe me anything, he confessed. But Emily, I truly want to assist you. Her eyes shimmered with unspoken sorrow. Your sympathy isn't necessary, Alex. It's not sympathy, he asserted. It is remorse. For the first time since their gazes had intertwined, Emily appeared to waver. She looked at Oliver, then shifted her gaze to Alex. The barriers she had built to protect herself were strong, yet signs of weakness were starting to emerge. What's the reason for this moment? She inquired, her voice quivering. What's prompted your concern at this moment? Alex was at a loss for words. Perhaps he actually did. Yet, he found himself unprepared to confront it. All he understood was that witnessing Emily in this state stirred something long asleep inside him. Something he was unable to overlook. Amidst the lively atmosphere of the shelter, Alex quietly resolved to take action. No matter what had transpired or how they found themselves in this situation, he was determined not to turn his back this time, neither from Emily nor from Oliver. Their love story unfolded like a dramatic ballet, filled with fervor and unpredictability that captivated both Alex and Emily completely. Alex, the embodiment of calm and reason, had thrown caution to the wind for Emily, a woman whose untamed spirit appeared to challenge every principle he held dear. Late-night dinners flowed seamlessly into conversations that lingered until dawn. Spontaneous getaways to the countryside turned into a habit as natural as inhaling. Their combination was certainly unconventional. He, the refined entrepreneur with walls guarding his emotions, and she, the free-spirited creator overflowing with vitality. Yet, in some way, they belonged together. Thus, he was convinced. The ceremony was magnificent, yet personal. A fragile equilibrium established between Alex's glamorous existence and Emily's yearning for a more uncomplicated life. On that day, she radiated, her eyes sparkling with visions of eternity. For Alex, it seemed as though invincibility had manifested in the vows they shared. He was confident that no tempest could unsettle them. Yet, tempests often slip in quietly, starting as mere murmurs before escalating into tumult. It began as a subtle tension, with Alex's unyielding timetable drawing him away from the comforts of home, while Emily's desire for exploration collided with the strict boundaries of his carefully organized life. Her afternoons spent painting or strolling through the city streets were a vivid contrast to his evenings lost in spreadsheets and conference calls. Small disagreements escalated, transforming into fierce confrontations marked by elevated voices and bruised egos. Emily charged him with prioritizing his career above their relationship, while Alex believed she did not understand the gravity of his obligations. The divide grew deeper until a single, pivotal disagreement fractured it all. "You regard me as just another object to own," Emily exclaimed, her voice quivering with pain, "as if it were within your grasp. And you behave as if I'm indifferent." Alex took the shot, returned, fury concealing the remorse eating away at him. Words flowed freely, incisive, severing, unrecoverable. By the break of dawn, she had vanished. No note. There is no need for an explanation. Only quietude. As the months rolled on, Alex immersed himself in his work, wielding its demands like a shield to guard against the deep void her absence had created. He reassured himself that it was for the best, that their disparities were beyond resolution. Yet here he sat now, across from Emily in a humble refuge, gazing at the little one nestled in her embrace. A young one who could belong to him. "Emily," he murmured gently, shattering the delicate stillness. She glanced upward, taken aback, her fingers gently gliding along the soft edge of the baby's blanket. "Although our relationship concluded on a sour note, it's important for you to share what transpired. What brought you to this place?" Her eyes narrowed, a mix of fury and fragility dancing within them. "What's it to you, Alex? You turned and left. Your actions spoke volumes about my value in your eyes." "That is not accurate," he responded with conviction. "I chose to stay put. You departed. What makes you believe I chose to leave?" She snapped back, her voice escalating. "Because I could no longer maintain the facade. You became so immersed in your own universe that you ceased to notice me entirely." Alex began to voice his disagreement but thought better of it and fell silent. She was indeed correct. He had not laid eyes on her. Not really. His relentless pursuit of achievement had rendered him oblivious to her gradual departure. "I made a mistake," he confessed, his voice filled with genuine emotion. "Absolutely significant. However, that doesn't imply I cease to care. It's a pleasure to encounter you in this space. This place isn't meant for you." Her laughter carried a sharp edge. "And where's my place, Alex? Are you back in your penthouse, embracing the role of a housewife? That approach failed previously and it will fail again." His gaze wandered to the slumbering baby nestled in her embrace. Could he belong to me? Emily tensed, holding the baby tightly against her. "Is it significant?" "It's important to me," Alex asserted. "If he is indeed my son, I have a right to be informed." She paused, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. The struggle was evident in her expression. At last, she let out a deep breath. "Indeed, Alex, he belongs to you." The words crashed over him like a tidal wave. His breath hitched, leaving him momentarily speechless. Remorse, delight, apprehension, everything swirled within him, a whirlwind of feelings on the brink of consuming. "Why didn't you share that with me?" he inquired, anguish threading through his tone. "Since you had already departed," she responded, her voice becoming gentler. "I wasn't sure if you would be interested in knowing. And even if you did," she hesitated, her gaze drifting down to Oliver. "I wanted to ensure he never felt like a burden as he grew up. He truly merits more than that." "He's not a burden," Alex declared passionately. "He is my son, and I wish to be involved in his life." Emily observed him, a battle of hope and skepticism playing across her face. "Crafting words is simple, Alex. Demonstrate it." Her challenge lingered in the atmosphere, a boundary established between them. Alex locked eyes with her, a fierce resolve igniting within him. He was determined to find a way to demonstrate it, even if he didn't yet understand how. To Emily, to Oliver, and for the opportunity he longed for, as Emily shared the challenges she had endured in solitude. The nights without sleep, the choices that seemed beyond reach, the anxiety of becoming lost once more. Alex absorbed every word, each one etching itself more profoundly into his determination. As she concluded, the atmosphere became still, punctuated only by the gentle cadence of Oliver's breath. "I can't change the past," Alex said at last, his voice thick with feeling. "Yet, I possess the power to alter what lies ahead. Allow me to be present. For him. And for you." Emily examined his expression, seeking the reality within the man standing in front of her. Was he trustworthy? Was she willing to take the chance of exposing her heart once more? "Is that what you're saying at this moment?" she whispered, her tone calm yet wary. "What occurs when challenges arise? When does work draw you away once more? How can I be sure you won't revert to previous behaviors?" Alex extended his hand, lingering just above hers in the space that separated them. "I have already endured too much loss. I will not repeat the same errors again." Alex moved forward slowly, his gaze steady and unyielding. He admitted it, his voice calm yet tinged with a hint of fragility. "I cannot guarantee flawlessness. I will falter. I may stumble. However, what I can assure you is this. I will strive with every ounce of my being to ensure our success. For you, to Oliver, for everyone." Emily observed him closely, her eyes analyzing every detail, looking for any hint of insincerity. Yet all she discovered was unfiltered truth. A man laid himself open, presenting not just reasons, but the essence of his soul. Following a lengthy silence, she at last broke her silence. Her words, scarcely heard, floated on the delicate wings of a whisper. She replied, "I'll consider it. That's all I can offer you at this moment." Alex nodded, taking in the weight of her reply. It wasn't victory, but it was a flicker, an inception. In the softly illuminated space of the shelter, the divide between them appeared less intimidating, less impossible to bridge. After a long stretch of time, the spark of something fresh, a future crafted not from previous errors, but through intentional decisions, seemed enticingly attainable. Later, as Alex sat alone in his car outside the shelter, the heaviness of Emily's words enveloped him like a relentless storm cloud. The gentle purr of the engine stood in stark opposition to the storm brewing within him. Her accusations, though expressed with a calm demeanor, had struck him with exacting clarity, revealing truths he could no longer ignore. For an extended period, Alex had linked success to concrete accomplishments, the numbers in his bank account, the praise from peers, the unceasing growth of his domain. Yet, gazing at the bustling cityscape, a deep sense of emptiness tugged at his heart. What significance did any of it hold if he had no one to share it with? Visions of their union emerged, strikingly clear and tinged with nostalgia. In a time long past, they were bound together, their affection overflowing with fervor and potential. Emily had been his steadfast support, her imaginative flair and unrestrained nature harmonizing with his drive. Yet, at some point he had allowed the balance to shift too much. His work enveloped him, overshadowing the very traits that had initially captivated him. Her independence, her creativity, by his relentless chase for career success. Their arguments echoed in his thoughts like fragments from a vintage movie reel. Her voice, yearning for acknowledgement, for a connection that transcended mere convenience, resonated deeply. He had brushed her off at that moment, reassuring her that his sacrifices were meant for their future. Now, witnessing her at the shelter with Oliver, their son, it struck him with heartbreaking clarity just how wrong he'd been. The subsequent days melded into a fog of responsibilities, but Alex's concentration stayed splintered. Clara, his assistant, observed it right away. The authoritative presence that once ruled the boardrooms has vanished. In his stead stood a preoccupied individual, his mind drifting away during pivotal conversations. "Mr. Carter," she set out one morning following a notably fragmented presentation. "Are you okay?" Alex rubbed his temples, managing a faint smile. "I'm doing well, Clara. Simply, private concerns." Clara paused, contemplating her response. At times, addressing personal challenges requires taking a step back to concentrate on what is genuinely important. Her words resonated profoundly within him, He came to understand that his obsession with solving problems in his own manner had blinded him to the true needs of Emily and Oliver. That evening, Alex reached a conclusion. Rather than returning to his penthouse, he made his way to the suburbs where his mother resided. Months had passed since his last visit, and he held on to the hope that she could provide some clarity. Margaret welcomed him with a bright smile, her expression filled with astonishment. "Alex, this is surprising and delightful. Step inside." As they nestled into the inviting living room, Alex paused, contemplating the words that lingered on the tip of their tongue. "Mom, I could really use your guidance." Margaret placed her teacup on the table, her demeanor shifting to one of gravity. "Absolutely, my dear. Share all the details with me." And so he did, reflecting on his encounter with Emily, the revelation of Oliver, and the overwhelming guilt that now enveloped him. "I did not succeed. Them, Mother," he confessed, his voice trembling with the burden of his feelings. "I let Emily down, and now I'm letting Oliver down before I've even started." Margaret extended her hand, offering a reassuring touch on his. "Defeat is not the end, Alex. It's an opportunity, a moment for development. The essential inquiry is, are you prepared to invest the effort to set things straight?" "I am," he responded without a moment's pause. "However, I'm uncertain about how to begin." Margaret offered a soft smile. "Begin by paying attention. Emily values sincerity over elaborate displays or hollow commitments. She must feel your presence, not merely through words, but through your deeds. Demonstrate it to her, Alex. Show her instead." The echoes of those words remained with him well into the night, steering him as if they were a guiding star. In the quiet of his study, Alex meticulously devised a plan. Not a mere business strategy, but a heartfelt blueprint aimed at winning Emily's trust and becoming the father that Oliver truly deserved. It would be a challenging and time-consuming endeavor. For the first time in years, Alex experienced a sense of purpose that went beyond mere wealth or recognition. The following morning, he reached out to Clara. "Adjust my agenda for the week, please. I have significant issues that require my attention." Clara refrained from asking too many questions, yet her tone clearly expressed her approval. "Absolutely, Mr. Carter." In the days that followed, Alex delved deep into Emily's universe. He toured the shelter, engaging with the staff to grasp its workings and the obstacles it faces. He discovered that it was lacking sufficient funding and facing challenges in addressing the needs of families in search of refuge. One afternoon, while sorting supplies with Linda, a compassionate coordinator, she inquired, "You're Emily's ex-husband, aren't you?" Alex gave a slight nod. "Absolutely. I am eager to assist in any way possible." Linda observed him intently for a moment before giving a nod of understanding. "Begin by grasping the reason for her presence. Emily carries her pride with a strong spirit. If she is present, it is due to a lack of alternatives." Her words ignited a fire within Alex. He dedicated his evenings to exploring methods to enhance the shelter's resources, generating ideas for sustainable support initiatives. More significantly, he started to perceive the world from Emily's perspective. The challenges faced, the commitments made, the resilience needed to continue progressing. Upon Alex's return to the shelter a week later, he had undergone a remarkable transformation. He didn't arrive as a prosperous patron or a soul in search of atonement. He stood as a father, prepared to mend what he had shattered. Emily observed from a distance as he engaged with the staff and enjoyed playful moments with the children. She couldn't ignore the transformation within him. He appeared gentler, more rooted, yet the barriers surrounding her heart stayed resolutely in place. As he drew near to her that evening, she regarded him with a blend of careful intrigue. "It seems you've had quite a lot on your plate," she noted. He confessed that he had. "I've been seeking clarity and I'm eager to delve deeper. To assist you, to aid Oliver, and to provide support for the families present." Emily folded her arms, her demeanor cautious. "What brings you to this moment, Alex? What prompted this abrupt shift?" "I've come to understand what is genuinely important," he said with a straightforward tone. "It's neither wealth nor achievement. It is you. My name is Oliver. It's an opportunity to engage in something genuine. Emily's determination faltered, but just a little. Deeds carry more weight than mere statements. Alex, if you seek to demonstrate your worth, then do so. With a determined nod, Alex embraced the challenge ahead. He understood that forgiveness wouldn't come easily, yet he was ready to work for it. Take it one step and one day at a time. In the weeks that ensued, Alex welcomed a fresh cadence. A narrative focused on Emily, Oliver, and the shelter. The era of perpetual meetings and long hours at the workplace became a distant recollection. Instead, he exchanged tailored suits for cozy sweaters, business transactions for meaningful dialogues, and corporate tactics for community-focused projects. He began with a gentle approach, honoring Emily's limits while showing unwavering dedication. His early contributions to the shelter were made discreetly, allowing them to obtain vital supplies without attracting any notice to his involvement. As time passed, he collaborated intimately with Linda and the team to tackle more profound challenges, suggesting enduring solutions. One afternoon, while sorting through donations, Linda inquired, "What motivates you to do this, Alex?" He took a moment to think before responding, "Because it's the right thing to do. I must demonstrate to Emily that I have transformed into someone entirely different from who I once was." Linda considered the matter with a thoughtful nod. "Keep in mind, Emily is perfectly capable on her own. She requires a companion." Alex truly absorbed her words. Instead of trying to resolve all issues simultaneously, he concentrated on establishing trust. He dedicated his time consistently, engaging with families and discovering their narratives. These experiences brought him to a place of humility, transforming the way he viewed the world. Success transcended the mere act of ascending the corporate hierarchy. It revolved around the bond, being there for others in their time of greatest need. From a distance, Emily watched Alex's unwavering determination, her feelings caught in a struggle between skepticism and respect. While she couldn't overlook his resolve, the wounds from their intertwined past continued to ache deeply within her. This was not just about Oliver. It was about demonstrating that he could embody consistency, reliability, and selflessness, traits that had been notably lacking throughout their marriage. One evening, as twilight brushed the sky with shades of amber and violet, Alex sat on the front steps of the shelter. The atmosphere was heavy with a sense of expectancy as Emily stepped forward, holding Oliver gently in her embrace. The infant whined, his wails piercing the tranquil quiet of the avenue. Challenging evening? Alex moved with quiet determination. Emily let out a soft sigh, cradling Oliver with a gentle bounce. Teething, "It feels like nothing can soothe him. Could I give it a go?" Alex proposed, his tone laced with uncertainty. After a moment's hesitation, Emily nodded, handing Oliver over with a hint of reluctance. With meticulous attention, Alex held his son, moving gently as if he were safeguarding something extraordinarily valuable. He started to hum a wistful tune from his youth, much to Emily's surprise. Oliver's cries faded, his little hands relaxed, and he settled peacefully against Alex's chest. "You've got the magic touch," Emily whispered, her voice tinged with astonishment. Alex looked down at Oliver, a gentle smile gracing his lips. "He is truly remarkable, Emily. I find it hard to fathom just how much I've already overlooked." Her expression briefly softened before it hardened once more. "It was never solely about you, Alex. I needed to safeguard both him and myself." "I understand," Alex responded with sincerity, "and I will dedicate each day to proving to you that I have changed from the man I once was. I wish to be present for both of you." Emily took her time before replying. Instead, she observed him cradling Oliver, her heart a storm of mixed feelings. She yearned to have faith in him, to hold onto the hope that he had genuinely transformed. However, the process of restoring trust was not an instantaneous affair. The following day, Alex approached Linda, excitement radiating from an idea full of promise. The shelter requires more than just contributions. It requires consistency, a lasting impression. Linda arched an eyebrow, doubt clearly written across her face. "What precisely are you suggesting?" As a collaboration, Alex elaborated. I possess the resources to create a fund for the shelter, a safeguard to guarantee it never faces hardship again. However, I'm not inclined to simply throw money at the issue. I aim to engage the community and develop initiatives that enable these families to restore their lives. As Linda observed him, her doubt transformed into intrigue. There was a genuine quality in his eyes held a depth she had never encountered before. That might be a viable option, she acknowledged. However, it will require dedication and perseverance. I'm prepared for both, Alex asserted confidently. He dedicated himself to coordinating events, fundraisers, and workshops aimed at empowering the shelter's residents. Utilizing his network, he obtained job opportunities, scholarships, and counseling services for the families. Slowly, the refuge changed, not just in a physical sense but also on an emotional level. It transformed into a guiding light, a refuge of rejuvenation. Emily found it impossible to overlook the transformations taking place around her. She observed the appreciation reflected in the gazes of the other residents whenever Alex was present. She observed the relationship developing between him and Oliver, a link that astonished her at each twist and turn. And in the midst of it all, she sensed an unfamiliar sensation awakening within she, anticipation. One evening, after a notably successful fundraiser, Emily found Alex seated alone in the shelter's humble garden. She moved forward with care, encircling herself with her arms to shield against the chill of the night air. I've been quite occupied, she noted, shattering the stillness. Alex glanced upward, a subtle smile playing on his lips, absorbed in his efforts to set things straight. Emily nestled next to him, her eyes wandering to the twinkling stars overhead. Your accomplishments are truly remarkable. For the refuge, to Oliver, for my own sake. It falls short, Alex confessed softly. Yet it marks the beginning. Emily pivoted to confront him, her demeanor cautious. What's prompting this now, Alex? What is it about losing everything that reveals what truly holds significance? Alex let out a long breath, his fingers combing through his hair. I don't possess a flawless response. All I can say is that witnessing you and Oliver that day transformed everything. I came to understand the extent of what I had discarded, and the depth of my desire to continue the struggle. Emily scanned his gaze, looking for any hint of deceit. Discovering a void, she uttered her words gently. I'm gonna need some time, Alex. It's time to discover the truth behind this. If you are genuinely dedicated to remaining, all the time you need will be yours, Alex assured. I'm here to stay. As they sat together beneath the shimmering stars, a delicate bond of comprehension started to form between them. It was not a coming together. Not at this moment. Yet it marked a step forward. A cautious stride towards mending past hurts and fostering the potential for a future grounded in trust and affection. As time flowed from days into weeks, Alex became a constant and reliable figure in Emily's life. Initially, she reacted with irritation, persuaded that this was just a temporary moment driven by remorse and duty. As time went on, she observed a steady pattern, a quality that Alex had unfortunately been missing throughout their marriage. She watched as Oliver laughed joyfully and stretched out her hands towards him with enthusiasm. The shelter flourished thanks to his dedication and hard work. He was engaging in something more meaningful than mere donation. He was putting his resources into something promising. His moment, their vitality, his heart. One afternoon, as Emily meticulously folded donated baby clothes in the shelter's common room, she looked up to see Alex walk in, balancing a box of fresh produce in his arms. I believed the shelter would benefit from some fresh ingredients, he declared, placing the box on the ground. Additionally, Linda expressed her desire to initiate a cooking workshop. Emily raised an eyebrow, curiosity piqued. Seems you're truly immersing yourself in this, aren't you? Alex shrugged, a faint smile playing at the corners of his mouth. It goes beyond mere protection. It's about demonstrating my transformation. Emily continued to fold, each motion intentional and measured. The past is something you cannot change, Alex. The manner of your departure and the words you spoke cannot be undone. He responded in a gentle tone, acknowledging the sentiment. Yet I can dedicate each day to atoning for it. Not through words, but through deeds. She paused, her mind wandering to the chaos of their marriage. She was captivated by his allure and self-assurance, convinced he would be her steadfast companion. Yet, as his career took over, she began to feel unseen. Her aspirations and desires pushed to the background. The argument that changed everything, the one that concluded with his departure, lingered vividly in her mind. "I'm not the same man I was back then," Alex remarked, shattering the stillness. "I was consumed by my own desires, oblivious to the treasures I possessed. Your absence has illuminated the essence of what is truly important." Emily locked eyes with him, seeking the man who had previously disappointed her. Instead, she discovered authenticity, remorse, and a determination that had previously been absent. She finally stated that actions carry more weight than mere words. To demonstrate your transformation, continue to be present. Maintain your dedication. Alex acknowledged that restoring trust was not something that could happen in an instant. "I shall." As the evening settled in, Emily gently rocked Oliver to sleep, her mind wandering to the weight of Alex's words. She yearned to trust him, yet her heart stayed shielded, her faith delicate. Yet, a tiny fragment of her, a feeling long dormant, ventured to believe that he was genuine. The following day, Alex showed up with an unexpected delight. "I figured you could use a little time off," he said, presenting 2 tickets to a local event at the park. Linda consented to look after Oliver for a short while. Emily arched an eyebrow. "You managed to persuade Linda to babysit?" "She remains anchored to her desk." Alex smiled broadly. "Let's just say I might have enhanced the arrangement with a new office chair." With some hesitation, Emily consented. The afternoon was a delightful meander through the park, where the sounds of live music filled the air and the tantalizing aromas of local vendors' food beckoned to be sampled. After months of turmoil, Emily finally experienced a fleeting moment of normalcy, a welcome break from the burdens she had been carrying. At a certain moment, Alex purchased a bracelet for her from a craftsman's stall, a modest silver band etched with the word hope. "It brought you to mind," he said with sincerity. "Your unwavering optimism has shone through, even in the face of adversity." Emily slid the bracelet onto her wrist, feeling her defenses waver against her will. "Thanks a lot." As they settled onto a bench with a view of the serene lake in the park, Alex glanced over at her. His expression was serious. "I realize I've caused you pain, Emily, and I recognize that rebuilding your trust will require patience. I want you to understand that I'm fully committed, no matter the effort required or the time it demands." Emily's meticulously built barriers started to show signs of weakness. She gazed at Alex, the man who had once broken her heart, and perceived someone attempting to mend it, piece by piece. "I'm not sure if I can find it in myself to forgive you," she confessed. "However, I'm open to exploring what unfolds from here." Alex extended his hand toward hers, his touch soft and tender. "That is everything I could ever desire." From that moment on, their relationship transformed. Emily drew Alex nearer, exploring the depths of their changing connection. They devoted more time to each other, not just as co-parents, but as 2 individuals rekindling the connection that had initially brought them together. Alex's actions remained profoundly expressive. He was there each day, not solely for Emily, but also for Oliver and the entire shelter community. He absorbed the lessons, evolved, and cast aside the pride and self-centeredness that once characterized him. The path for Emily was fraught with challenges. Confidence hung by a thread, while apprehension loomed in the background. Yet, with every act of kindness and every display of selflessness, her doubts began to diminish. Gradually, the barriers encasing her heart started to fall away, creating space for a fresh beginning. A bond forged through faith, renewal, and the opportunity to begin anew. As the days morphed into weeks, the flow of their lives started to find a fresh harmony. Alex had effortlessly integrated himself into the essence of Emily and Oliver's lives, becoming a vital element in the intricate design of their close-knit family. Even with her protective walls, Emily found it impossible to overlook the deep influence he had on her life. He resonated with the consistent rhythm of a finely calibrated machine. Dependable, stabilizing, and unexpectedly soothing. Yet, just as she began to consider the chance of reconstructing something significant with him, a sudden insight emerged, rattling the delicate structure they were carefully building. It was one of those serene mornings at the shelter where time appeared to unfold slowly. The residents went about their tasks with determination, while Emily remained bent over her desk in the office, passionately typing away at a grant application. The aroma of coffee filled the air just before Alex arrived, balancing 2 steaming cups and a bag of breakfast pastries in hand. He set the food down with a lopsided grin that always had a way of softening the moment, suggesting that a break was just what was needed. Her edges, Emily lifted her gaze from the screen, a hesitant smile playing at the corners of her mouth. You're approaching a realm of deep contemplation. Perilously, Alex let out a soft laugh, resting against the desk. I'm striving for a steady approach here. Before a reply could escape her lips, Linda stormed into the room, her complexion ashen and her fingers quaking around a wrinkled sheet of paper. Emily, you have to check this out, she exclaimed, her tone laced with intensity. With a furrowed brow, Emily accepted the letter from Linda's hand. Their main benefactor, a generous philanthropist, had been the essential support for the shelter over the years. The words on the page struck her with the force of a gut-wrenching blow. Funding will be halted right away because of worries regarding financial mismanagement. This must be a misunderstanding of some sort. Emily faltered, a wave of anxiety swelling within her. We have openly shared every detail regarding our expenses. Linda shook her head, her expression somber. There's no error here. I reached out to their office. It has been confirmed. Without that funding, we're in deep trouble. Alex moved in, peering intently at what Emily was working on. His jaw clenched as he took in the seriousness of the moment. Allow me to handle this, he stated with conviction. Emily's gaze locked onto his, a glimmer of doubt dancing in her eyes. What makes you think they would pay attention to you? For a moment, Alex paused, a flicker of guilt crossing his face. I have a personal connection with the sponsor. Her stomach plummeted. Could you clarify what you mean by that? With a steady inhale, Alex articulated their thoughts. The sponsor turned out to be none other than Robert Carrington, a longtime family acquaintance. Upon learning that Emily was employed at the shelter, Alex contacted Robert, driven by a sense of curiosity rather than any ill intent. He sought to grasp the intricacies of her existence, yearning to discover a path that would lead him back into her life. What began as a simple question quickly escalated into chaos when Robert leveraged the information to rationalize severing connections with the shelter. Emily felt the sting of betrayal crashing over her like relentless waves. You acted without my knowledge. You leveraged your network to uncover details about my life. I never intended for it to cause you pain, Alex said hastily, his voice laced with urgency. I aimed to assist, to grasp the experiences you had faced. Thus, I could offer my assistance to you. You had no authority to do that, Emily retorted, her voice quaking with rage. This shelter means the world to me, representing all my efforts and aspirations. You put it at risk because you couldn't simply come to me and ask directly. I messed up, Alex admitted, his shoulders drooping beneath the burden of his remorse. However, I have the ability to resolve this. I would like to speak with Robert. No, Emily replied with a cutting tone. Her faith in him was broken. Your efforts have been more than sufficient. That evening, Emily sat in solitude within the shelter's common room. The day's burden loomed over her, heavy and oppressive like a gathering storm. Watching their main source of funding slip away felt like gazing into a void, a force that loomed, ready to consume all she cherished. And then came Alex, someone she had tentatively welcomed back into her life, only to uncover hidden truths that pierced deeper than she could have ever anticipated. As she cradled Oliver in her arms, silent tears traced down her cheeks. She sensed a disconnection, floating aimlessly in a vast ocean of doubt, uncertain about whom or what remained worthy of her trust. In the meantime, Alex was driven by an unwavering resolve. He set up a meeting with Robert Carrington, bracing himself for the impending clash. The lavish high-rise office loomed impressively, a striking juxtaposition to the humble abode that Alex had grown to appreciate. Robert welcomed him with a self-satisfied grin. Reclining in his leather chair, he exuded an air of authority, as if surveying his vast kingdom. "It takes a lot of audacity to appear here after I extended a helping hand to you." Robert spoke in a slow, languid manner. "That was not a kindness. It was a deliberate act of undermining," Alex retorted, his tone frigid even with the warmth bubbling just below the exterior. "The work done by that shelter is truly remarkable. And you're penalizing them simply because I requested information." Robert scoffed. "The shelter poses a significant risk. Backing it damages my standing, particularly with your former spouse being part of the situation." Fury coursed through Alex, fierce and unyielding. "Emily stands out as one of the most resilient and caring individuals I have ever encountered. The decision to cut funding reflects your ego rather than any connection to her." Robert's smirk faded, giving way to a chilling stare. "You're prepared to jeopardize your reputation for someone who walked away from you." "She stayed with me." Alex made the correction, his tone resolute. "Leaving her was the greatest error I ever made. If aiding her jeopardizes my standing, then so be it." For the first time, Robert appeared truly astonished. "Are you truly committed to this?" "I exist," Alex responded promptly. "Restore the funding or I will seek out sponsors who are willing to step in." Following a charged pause, Robert ultimately gave in. "All right, but don't count on receiving any additional help from me." As the sun dipped below the horizon, Alex made his way back to the shelter, his heart set on finding Emily in the garden. She sat in solitude, holding Oliver close, her eyes lost in thought, a mystery etched on her face. "I fixed it," Alex said softly, settling onto the bench beside her. "The funding has been restored." Emily averted her gaze from him. "That doesn't alter your actions." "I know," Alex admitted, his voice laden with remorse. "Yet, I will persist in my efforts to regain your trust. I will continue to be present, even in challenging times." They lingered in quietude, the heaviness of unvoiced feelings enveloping the space around them. At last, Emily uttered a word, her voice scarcely rising above a whisper. "I'm uncertain about my ability to forgive you, yet I'm aware that I cannot navigate this path by myself." Alex extended his hand towards hers, his touch both cautious and determined. "There's no obligation to do so. I have arrived, dedicated to you, to Oliver, for however long it may require." Yet her defenses stood resolutely unyielding. Emily sensed a delicate flicker of hope, a tender whisper that suggested perhaps, just perhaps, they might rediscover their connection. "What is the reason for this moment?" Her voice was a delicate whisper, scarcely perceptible. "What compels you to act this way at this moment, after all that has transpired?" Alex's gaze met hers, steady yet filled with a rawness she had never encountered before. "Letting you go was the gravest mistake I've ever made," he admitted, his voice thick with remorse. "I cannot go back to my former self, not after everything you and Oliver have revealed to me. Your lessons have revealed the essence of what is truly important." That night, Emily lay in bed, her mind a tempest of swirling thoughts, like leaves caught in a fierce storm. Was forgiveness possible for her? Could she dare to let someone back in who had shattered her heart so utterly? Memories emerged, instances when Alex had been there for her, times when his presence had seemed authentic, even affectionate. And then, there was the man he appeared to be transforming into, patient, humble, devoted not only to her but to the life they could still create together. The following morning, Emily discovered Alex in the storage room of the shelter, meticulously organizing boxes filled with donated supplies. "We need to have a conversation," she stated, her voice firm. He halted, placing the box he carried on the ground, and turned to meet her gaze. "What's on your mind?" "I can't promise anything," she began, her voice unwavering even amidst the chaos inside her. Yet, I am open to the possibility of exploring ways to reclaim what has slipped away. A spark of optimism shone in Alex's gaze. All I've sought is an opportunity. She lifted a hand, interrupting him in the midst of his words. This doesn't imply that I've completely absolved you. I'm open to discovering the possibilities that lie ahead. However, patience will be essential. Each day, you must demonstrate to me that your intentions are genuine. He vowed it resolutely without a moment's pause. Each and every day. In the weeks that ensued, Emily and Alex undertook the arduous journey of mending their bond. Trust was not a seed that blossomed in an instant. Forgiveness demands both time and effort. Nevertheless, Alex's unwavering commitment and Emily's careful openness to reestablishing their connection started to pave the way for a fresh beginning. While their path remained long and winding, they understood that the initial stride toward recovery had been made. Hand in hand, they would face the trials that awaited them, bound by their affection for Oliver and the common vision of a more hopeful tomorrow. As days morphed into weeks, Emily and Alex navigated the delicate choreography of mending their relationship. It was intricate work, reminiscent of assembling a broken masterpiece. A single misstep and the delicate framework could come tumbling down. Yet, as they toiled, a deep realization began to dawn upon them. The fractures didn't indicate fragility. Instead, they observed resilience, evidence that something beautiful could arise from brokenness. Emily watched Alex intently during those initial days, examining the authenticity of his commitments. She observed his early arrival at the shelter, eagerly rolling up his sleeves to lend a hand to the staff. He lingered into the evening, meticulously addressing each nuance. This was genuine. It was intentional. Despite her efforts to uphold her emotional barriers, she found it harder and harder to overlook the depth of Oliver's adoration for him. One afternoon, Emily strolled into the playroom to discover Alex seated cross-legged on the floor alongside Oliver. The infant moved joyfully across the floor, drawn to the wobbly stack of blocks that Alex had built. With a joyful flourish, Oliver sent the blocks cascading, bursting into fits of laughter. Alex enthusiastically joined in, clapping his hands and cheering with fervor. It seems that the knack for destruction is a family trait, Emily remarked playfully from the doorway. Alex looked up, a smile spreading across their face. He possesses an innate gift. She let out a gentle laugh. At least one of you has the knack for bringing things to the ground. For a moment, his smile wavered, yet he swiftly regained his composure. He acknowledged that construction requires more time. However, I am in the process of learning, beginning with our journey together. Her breath caught in her throat. She yearned to have faith in him, to embrace this new portrayal of Alex who appeared so unlike the person she had once left behind. Yet, trust was not easily bestowed. It was something that required effort to attain. As the evening wore on, Alex made his way to Emily, who was immersed in a sea of paperwork in her office. "Would you and Oliver like to join me for an outing tomorrow?" he inquired, his tone laced with apprehension. "Gone? Where is it?" she responded, arching an eyebrow. He described a park situated by the river. I envisioned a picnic for the three of us. But Emily paused, uncertain if she was prepared for something that seemed so ordinary. Yet, the sincerity in Alex's eyes captivated her. "Very well," she admitted. "However, don't anticipate anything extravagant. Oliver doesn't have a reputation for his sophisticated taste." Alex smiled broadly. Understood. The next afternoon, Alex showed up at the shelter with a picnic basket in hand, while Emily emerged outside, holding Oliver gently in her arms. The infant let out a joyful squeal upon seeing Alex, stretching out their plump little hands in his direction. Hand in hand, they wandered to the park, illuminated by the warm glow of the evening sun. Alex laid out a blanket by the riverbank, carefully unpacking sandwiches, fresh fruit, and snacks for Oliver. The infant chuckled while discovering the grassy expanse, enchanted by the whispering foliage and singing birds. As they dined, Emily felt a sense of ease wash over her in Alex's presence. He focused on Oliver, ensuring the little one was cozy and engaged. As their gazes locked, she perceived a gentle warmth in his eyes, a profound emotion that ignited a blend of hope and trepidation within her. "You've changed," she whispered, shattering the serene stillness. Alex nodded, a contemplative look crossing his face. "I was compelled to. Experiencing your absence revealed the depth of my understanding regarding what truly holds significance." "What holds significance for you at this moment?" she inquired, her tone cautious. He responded promptly and with confidence. "You and Oliver, reconciling, creating a life grounded in values that transcend wealth or achievement." His honesty took her by surprise. A part of her yearned to confront him, to insist on evidence through deeds instead of mere words. Yet, a tiny, glowing spark within him yearned to trust that maybe he was genuine. As twilight fell, casting vibrant colors across the sky, Emily observed Alex engaging with Oliver. The infant watched in awe as Alex spun a leaf caught in the wind, giggling at its whimsical movements. It was an ordinary moment, yet it held deep significance, a vision of the life they could build if they chose to take the leap together. As Alex made his way back to the shelter, he cradled a slumbering Oliver, each step deliberate and cautious. Emily strolled alongside him, her heart burdened by a swirl of conflicting feelings. Uncertain of what lay ahead, she experienced a flicker of hope for the first time in years. "Thank you," she murmured as they arrived at the shelter. Alex gazed at her in astonishment. "What for?" "In response to the effort," she said. "For being present for him." His eyes grew tender. "I will persist, Emily, no matter how long it requires." That evening, Emily positioned herself beside Oliver's crib, observing her son as he peacefully slumbered. She reflected on the man Alex had been when their paths first crossed. The captivating tycoon whose drive had enchanted her, yet ultimately shattered her heart. She reflected on the man he had become, modest, resolute, and keen to seek forgiveness. Was it possible for her to completely forgive him? Was it possible for her to have faith in him again and allow him to re-enter her world? Not just in the role of Oliver's father, but also as her companion. She lacked the answers for now, but her determination to uncover them was unwavering. The journey before her was fraught with challenges, yet as she surrendered to slumber, a fragile tranquility enveloped Emily. They were embarking on a fresh journey, and for the moment that sufficed. She watched him in silence, the walls guarding her heart slowly lowering their defenses just a little bit more. "You've changed, Alex," she whispered gently. "Indeed, you are as well." He responded with a subtle smile. "Perhaps that's not as bad as it seems." As the shelter thrived through their combined commitment, Emily started to perceive reflections of the man she had once cherished. The Alex who showed profound compassion, paid close attention, and embraced the hard work necessary for a cause beyond his own interests. However, it was not just his actions that conveyed a great deal. His gaze was fixed on her, as if she were the very heart of his existence. It was the gentle care he exhibited towards Oliver, capturing the essence of the fatherly love Emily had always dreamed of for her son. He honored her boundaries, allowing her the space to proceed at her own pace without any rush or pressure. One evening, as they wandered through the city after a long day's toil, Alex came to an abrupt stop. "I have something important to express," he spoke, his tone laden with earnestness. Emily pivoted to confront him, her heart racing. "What is it exactly?" "I hurt you," he admitted, his gaze probing into hers. "I have disappointed you in ways that cannot be reversed. However, I want you to understand that I am willing to dedicate my entire life to making things right, if you allow me to." His vulnerability hit her with the force of a sudden storm. For an extended period, she had built walls around herself to shield against the chance of experiencing pain once more. Yet, as she stood there among the vibrant streetlights and the murmurs of conversation, it dawned on her that this was not the same Alex who had left 6 months prior. This was an individual who had clawed his way back, not through hollow assurances, but through unwavering deeds. "I'm not certain I'm prepared just yet," she admitted, her voice almost lost amidst the city's buzz. "That's perfectly fine," he responded. His stare remained steadfast. I'm here to stay. In the following week, Alex astonished Emily by turning the shelter's rooftop into a tranquil haven. Glistening fairy lights hung gracefully overhead. Vibrant potted flowers adorned the edges, while the snug seating formed a welcoming retreat. As Emily entered the scene for the first time, she found herself at a loss for words. I wanted to give you a moment to gather your thoughts, Alex said softly. A sanctuary to retreat to when the weight of the world becomes overwhelming. Emily strolled through the garden, her fingers lightly brushing against the soft petals of a blossoming rose. It's absolutely stunning, she murmured, her eyes locking with his. Thank you, Alex smiled, a wave of relief sweeping across his face. You truly deserve this. As they stood together beneath the starlit sky, Emily sensed a spark of something she hadn't felt in a long time. Tranquility. Maybe, just maybe, they were beginning to find their way towards recovery. As the months rolled by, their lives found a cadence that echoed a sense of balance. The shelter flourished thanks to their collaborative guidance. What had previously been a dilapidated structure now shone with vibrant paint, restored features, and a sense of optimism. Initially, residents viewed Alex with skepticism, but over time, they came to see him as an essential member of their community. In the midst of advancements and minor triumphs, the connection between Alex and Emily stood as the foundation. It wasn't perfect, nor was it free of obstacles, but it was genuine and becoming more resilient with each passing day. On a brisk autumn evening, amidst the shelter's annual fundraising gala, Alex quietly distanced himself from the throng. The rooftop garden he had designed for Emily had become a captivating setting for the occasion. Bathed in gentle illumination and presenting a breathtaking panorama of the city skyline, Emily discovered him resting against the railing, absorbed in contemplation. Fleeing your own gathering? She playfully teased, her tone light and mischievous. He pivoted, a smile spreading across his face at the sight of her. She appeared luminous in a modest yet sophisticated dress, her hair flowing in gentle waves. Pausing to absorb the moment, he remarked, You've created something truly remarkable here, Emily. It has been created. She adjusted her stance, stepping beside him at the railing. Your support made all the difference. They lingered in a comfortable quiet, the far-off buzz of the gala receding into the periphery. Emily, Alex started, his tone surprisingly gentle. I have a thought I've been wanting to express. Her heart raced with unexpected excitement. What is it exactly? He inhaled deeply, his hand slipping into his pocket. As he revealed a delicate velvet box, Emily felt a sudden catch in her breath. For the past year, I have been working to show both you and myself that I can be the person you and Oliver truly deserve, he stated, his voice unwavering yet filled with deep feeling. I have erred, and I understand that perfection is unattainable. However, I assure you of this. I will devote my entire life to ensuring your happiness and creating a complete family for us. He lifted the lid of the box, unveiling a simple yet significant ring, a testament to all they had reconstructed together. Emily, will you take my hand in marriage once more? He inquired, his gaze fixed intently on hers. Emotion filled her eyes as she looked at the man standing in front of her. This was not the spontaneous Alex she had wed years prior. This was a man who had gained her confidence, demonstrating commitment daily through actions rather than mere words. Indeed, she murmured, her voice quivering. Absolutely, Alex. Cheers from the gala below floated up to the rooftop as Alex slipped the ring onto her finger. He wrapped her in a firm embrace, and for the first time in what seemed like an eternity, Emily permitted herself to completely let go, to have faith, to dream, to feel love. Oliver's laughter broke the silence as he raced up the stairs, gripping a balloon tightly. Hey, Mom and Dad, can you fill me in on what's happening? Emily sank to her knees, enveloping him in a warm embrace. My partner just proposed to me once more. Oliver's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. Does that imply I get to carry the ring? Alex laughed softly, playfully tousling his son's hair. You are destined to be the most remarkable ring bearer. The wedding unfolded a month later in the rooftop garden, enveloped by their dearest friends, the shelter residents, and the new family they had created together. Emily strolled down the aisle in a modest gown, grasping Oliver's hand as they neared Alex, whose grin could have illuminated the darkest of nights. As they exchanged vows, the words danced gracefully between them, vows of affection, unity, and an unwavering dedication to the family they had formed. As the night deepened and the festivities began to fade, Alex and Emily found themselves side by side beneath the twinkling stars, observing Oliver as he twirled and laughed with the other children from the shelter. "I never thought we'd find ourselves in this place," Emily confessed, leaning her head against Alex's shoulder. "Nor I," Alex responded, his voice brimming with awe. "Yet I wouldn't exchange it for anything in the world." They observed Oliver spinning joyfully, his laughter resonating through the crisp night air. It was a moment of sheer delight, a reflection of their incredible journey. "I love you," Alex declared, his voice unwavering and firm. Emily gazed up at him, her eyes glistening with emotion. "I cherish you as well." As they sat together, fingers intertwined, surrounded by warmth and joy, they realized their journey was just starting. A story of renewal, strength, and a love that can endure any tempest. United once more, they embarked on a fresh journey filled with optimism, joy, and the assurance of eternity. If this tale resonated with you, feel free to express your reflections in the comments.